Welcome to the Redvee TV Instant Reaction, supported by Chapel House for the 2023 season, following St Helens' 14-12 defeat here this evening at the Totally Wicked Stadium to the Catalan Dragons. Kevin, disaster.
No. What? Disaster?
Well,
the result is.
The evening.
Oh, the evening.
Mark Percival, James Roby, both out next week. We haven't even managed to come away with the victory. It's a disaster.
Well, when you had everything like that...
What are you going to say? I had the score wrong or something then?
No.
I'm thinking, have I missed something?
If you just say disaster, it doesn't really lead me into anything, though.
Should we start again?
Yes.
Redvee TV's Instant Reaction, supported by Chapel House for the 2023 season, as we suffer a 14-12 defeat to the Catalan Dragons. Kevin, it's not the evening we wanted, but we'll move on.
You could call it a disaster.
I can see a yellow card.
There's bits of that were good, and bits which are going to have repercussions into next week, and bits that fans are just going to keep hold of as well. I thought for long periods of that game we looked toothless,
Blunt.
Yeah, didn't look like we had too many ideas of how to score. And then there were just two little bits of genius: the Lewis Dodd kick through, and then Will Hopewati finding him on the inside when he moved to centre. They were probably the two best bits of the game when you go to attacking. Obviously, they've led to tries. There's not been anything where you think, oh, you know what, that was quite good play. I mean, we'll talk about the last action of the game in a minute. But yeah, we're missing James Roby, Mark Percival, potentially bans coming from that. Yeah. Not great.
Obviously, we go down 8-0, probably midway through the first half. I tweeted at that point, I felt like the game was drifting, and it just looked like it was a little bit flat. We weren't doing very much, and you just felt if Catalan got another score at that point in time, the game is just slowly going to go away from you. We did manage to get back in it with that little Lewis Dodd kick through, get us back on the scoreboard, but then we conceded early in the second half, and again, we said it was blunt. I said to you, I was asking, where's the pace in our team at this moment in time? And obviously you look at Jack Wellesby. And then I said to you, who's the quickest player on the pitch after Jack? And we were struggling.
Yeah. It's tough to pick one out. It's
not our game now, is it?
Yeah, no, it is. And it's how teams are now attacking us. It seems that they do like putting it through the hands and putting it into the wingers. Well, you see they score with a length of the field effort when Johnny Lomax tried that dink kick, and that's the risk when people are talking about the kicking game. When you put that kick up that everybody can go for, and it's not causing too many issues, it's just floated. Somebody quick gets it, and against the team with not that much pace, you're on the back foot.
And then on the flip side, so when people are watching Lewis Dodd put that floating high kick up into the corner where we put 3 or 4 men round it to try and bat it, but if we don't get the ball, you can crowd the man.
Yeah,
I'm forced to turn over there. It's swings and roundabouts.
It's what we've played for years. It's what we played when Theo Farge and Danny Richardson were our halfbacks, where you put in percentage kicks in, and it's not high percentage risk.
But don't get me wrong, I'm quite happy for Johnny to put that kick in.
But
you've got to go for some sort of risk and reward, but a little bit of Sam Tompkins' brilliance, collects the ball, finds his winger, and he's gone with that pace. Defensively, I think we're solid. We're still solid. We've still conceded the least points in the league. The 2 tries we've conceded tonight, obviously length of the field effort, and then where we faced a spell on our own line off the back of a penalty that we've given away, which was never in a month for Sundays a penalty. And then I said as they played the ball, we were stood at the back of the West Stand. It was 7-on-4. You could see the overlap. They had the numbers, and he just about got in.
Yeah, Mark Percival, that's where he's gone off for his HIA, because he's gone flying in. He's done that a couple of times and come off second best now. I know we're trying to jam in and force that big play, but obviously it was never on. And they've gone in. We've missed the tackle in the corner there, missed the opportunity to put him into touch. Yeah, it's It's disappointing because of the manner of the way that they've scored the 2 tries. In that, yeah, it's a length of the field effort. It's one that I've only seen the penalty given once for kicking out, and you don't really see it on the replay on the big screen. So it'll be interesting to see that when we get back, because when you see it live, you don't really see anything. Then you watch the big screen, they show the close-up, nothing really happens. And I know they've then got to get down the field and score the try, but they managed to do that. It's 2 tries apiece. It's a penalty goal that separates us. And I'll go back to what I've been saying all year. Where discipline lets us down. And I'm not just talking about discipline of shoulder charges or being offside or anything like that. I'm talking about discipline, defensively, of not coming in and flying out the line. And just discipline in when we were going forward. We said it a couple of times. We're trying to play a little bit more off the cuff because we have to. We're chasing the game. But there's no one backing up. And we did it in the Wigan game where we ended up getting turned over. We've done it to some extent tonight where there's no backing up there.
Yeah, there looked a little element of trying to force it without the structure and the plan there. One of the first half, we'll go back to just before we scored the try, where Lewis has put the ball through. James Bell looks like he's missed it. Will Hopoate touches down, and Liam Moore's gone back and give the penalty straight away. Didn't even look at the screen, even though they looked. Listen, I might be wrong on this. We've only seen it on the big screen. There looked like there was some evidence that Bell missed it completely, and it's a try. At that point, why hasn't he just gone and had a look at the screen? I know. Listen, there's nothing come of it because we've scored off the following set. But a strange one.
It is, because I think we always go back to the Challenge Cup final in 2019 where you think just look at the screen.
Should you have the option if you touch the ball down to say, I think I've scored it?
Then Captain's Challenge comes in. The Captain's Challenge comes in. I think it's the issue with that is you want referees to make the big calls. To me, it looks like it's come off James Bell. I don't know where it's come off him. I said it straight away as it happened. I thought that we'd lost it.
I thought he'd knocked on.
Yeah.
But then when I looked at the screen again, it looks like they just collided and missed.
Well, either way, I think he's touched it somehow. We've got the penalty from it, and after I think we got another penalty after that. The whole crowd was up for it. We said how it could be a little bit flat with it being a Thursday night, and it's up to us to generate the atmosphere because you're not expecting Catalan to come over here every other week with 300, 400 fans. It's just not going to happen. So that one, a bit of me thinks, well done to Liam Moore for making a decision, sticking with his conviction. But you've got the video ref that he could have had a little look at it. I'm not gonna whinge about.
No,
that
we scored. I'm just having chat about the instant because we scored off the back of it anyway. Man of the match tonight in the stadium, Will Hopoate. Thought he was absolutely fantastic defensively. Unlucky not to again. Fine margins. He managed to get the ball down once in the corner. His left footer touched the line. Little bit of brilliance for Lewis Dodd's try. And at the end, we could have won it. Ball goes down the right-hand side. Hopoate has Connie on his outside after switching into centre. Throws the pass out. Connie's come back inside. It's just
ifs, buts, and maybes.
I want Connie to be hugging the wing at that point because that's where the gap was. But equally, how many times have we scored this season where Connie's come back inside and powered through? If it sticks, we win the game, and that's the fine margin. So, disappointed at the results, like the effort. Considering how much changing around we've had to do, and different combinations and missing players, and we're not going to listen. We're not blaming injuries. We're just not. But it all adds up, doesn't it? When you've got players missing, and you hope you get bodies back, and at the business end, you get a better result.
Yeah. Exactly. As you say, it's a different combination even with Connie playing out on the wing and Will in at centre. That's a different way round. So they kind of have been playing together where Will's been hugging the wing and expecting the ball out from Connie. It's flipped in them last couple of minutes. I think you can apportion equal blame there and also a bit of no blame. If it was Formula 1, it would be
a driving racing incident.
Yes.
It's just a rugby incident.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
bad luck.
Yeah.
Catalan come here off the back of a defeat against Huddersfield. Perfect away performance, just grounded out, did what they needed to do.
Yeah.
They seem to have got a way of winning against us.
Yep. They have slowed down the ruck, slowed down the first tackle. Not bothered necessarily about giving away 6 agains when they're given. That's how they do it. And again, we're not talking about a referee, we're talking about a way to win, and they've found that way to do it. If we do it,
I hate 6 again.
Yeah.
There's got to be something better when you turn over possession, to be able to just lie on and lie on and lie on and lie on till the referee waves 6 again, where it was already, you're not gaining anything from it. It's just, something's got to change in that rule. And I'm not saying we don't do it the other way, we probably do.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for it, but I'm sure everyone does it. But it's a terrible rule for fans. It's almost like in the last minute of a game, if there's a minute on the clock and you're leading by a score, you may as well just lie on for the next 10 seconds every tackle. It's taken away the excitement at the end of games.
Yeah. Although, you're saying that, we've just had excitement right at the end of that game.
Well, we wouldn't have had to throw that last pass out if we'd had another 10 seconds on the clock.
I suppose, yeah, there's one where the player was down injured and they wasted 15 seconds.
Why did the clock not stop?
I thought the clock stopped for... I suppose it's at the ref's discretion. I thought in the last 5 minutes you stop the clock for anything like that.
Yeah.
But, listen, we've come up short there.
Will Hopoate, man of the match tonight. If Tommy Makinson is fit again for next week, which we believe he should be, which winger drops out? Benison or Hopoate? If you were having to choose between the two, without any sort of reshuffle.
John Benison.
I think Will Hopoate's done enough last couple of weeks to justify his selection. I think he's been tremendous since that a bit of a poor performance at Hull, where
I think
we were poor across the board.
That whole left-hand side, which John Benison was part of as well, were poor. Then they've picked themselves back up again against Castleford, against Warrington. The performances have got better. I probably think you go with Will because he just looks a little bit more composed. He looks to be making meters after contact.
That's my only issue with John Benison as a winger. Listen, it's probably not ever going to be his forte, but he doesn't make any meters after contact. He's safe collecting the ball, but he hits the first man and he's not going to make anything for you.
I think the esteemed David Rigby, who we spoke to before coming out, that's the first and only time I'm going to call you that, David, said he didn't get a pass tonight. He didn't. But I suppose it's just one of them games when he ends up with Sione at centre, who's been playing in the middles.
There was one chance where the ball did go left, and you probably else Sione. Well, a centre would have gone and found his winger. Yeah. Sione played it safe and brought it back in.
There were 2 options. There was that one, and then there was one a bit later where you're thinking, don't pass to him. But I don't necessarily think, and I think it will be, I mean, judging by the comments that we get, that seems to have put John in the same bracket as the likes of, I don't know, Darren Albert and Anthony Sullivan and great wingers that we've seen at the club. John Benison is a good, honest, hard-working pro who does a great job for us. But I just think at the moment, if Tommy Makinson comes in, he probably comes in for John. We don't need him for his kicking if Tommy's back. Joey Lussick can also kick goals. And I think Will Hopoate has just been... There was a kick in the second half that you actually said, that's tremendous, where Will Hopoate just looked like he had all the time in the world to take it.
Under the pressure of 3 men in the corner.
Yeah, and I don't want to turn this into like a Will Hopoate fan page, but I think if fans are just remembering that past...
Membership of 2, me and you.
Yeah, and whoever gave man of the match tonight. I think...
Will's wife.
Thanks, Mrs. Hopoate. I think...
He won a lovely trip to Lee next week. Warrington.
Warrington.
Don't go to Lee.
I think if fans just remember that, then they're doing him a disservice with the rest of his game.
Yeah. Look at what's in front,
Look at the whole picture. It's just the whole picture. Yeah. That's what we try and do. We have to come on here and try and condense that 80 minutes into chatting rubbish for 10 minutes. They'll be able to hear me. My voice is loud enough. Into chatting about it in 10 minutes. So the stuff that we're going to miss, the stuff that we're going to say that people don't agree with.
The stuff we're going to get completely wrong.
Yeah. But we're trying to look at the full picture. So, as we say,
I hope they're not assessing our performance tonight.
As we say, Lewis Dodd's kicking. He's kicking to a plan. When he's put in a couple of short kicks that people around us have been appreciative of, it looks like a change up in his play. Will Hopoate looks to be growing in confidence. John Bennison does a great job on that wing. Just you want to see him with ball in hand, kind of attacking the line if he can. But that's not up to him, that's up to his centre. I think, talking about other players, James Bell, Morgan Knowles, I think have both had decent enough games tonight. And that's it.
Right, injuries then.
Yep.
We've lost James Roby. Joey Lussick's come on. I actually thought Joey Lussick give us a little bit more speed round the ruck as well.
He did it last week.
I think he's been very good for weeks. We've said it again and again. Listen, what we'll miss next week most from James at this moment in time, I feel, is his captaincy and his leadership. I think Lussick at the moment, he's looked really good coming off the bench. I only hope he is able to do that from the start, because I don't think we've seen that at all, but not that he's had opportunity to. But we're going to miss Robes next week. But Lussick looking all right.
Is this what we've said for a couple?
And your plane to Parramatta's now been cancelled.
Yeah. Is this what we've been saying for the past couple of weeks, where I'd have started Lussick? I'd have played Lussick for longer minutes there. Listen,
I was saying to you about, obviously, about Robe's head injury, and this is why we need to be giving Lussick more minutes. And you said, well, obviously, the head injury's not coming back in 1 minute. My point is, the longer the player's on the field, the more susceptible to get to injury, just because you have more exposure.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you use Joey Lussick as a crash test dummy instead, but we're now down to having to find somebody to back up. If Joey can't do 80, which I'm hoping he is going to be able to, somebody's going to have to fill in at 9. And given that we've got injuries and potentially bans coming elsewhere, it creates a headache for Wello. And then to compound that, Mark Percival does himself in.
It's going to be Morgan Knowles or James Bell, isn't it?
James Bell, you'd hope.
No. I think this is a valid criticism of the coaching staff, that because they haven't given James enough time off, and this is nothing to do with the head injury, but because they haven't managed him to do less minutes.
We haven't seen what Joey can do for 80.
We haven't seen what Joey can do for 80. We haven't seen... We have seen what Morgan Knowles has done in the first half. Yeah, he had an injury against Hull, and that was a game that we should just purge from our memories. We've got a third choice hooker there who is seemingly out of favour and doesn't look like he's going to get a look in, and we've got Jake Wingfield.
Now we're
talking about 13s playing 9 again.
We haven't even got Jake Wingfield out of his shoulder.
He's injured,
Taylor Pemberton, third choice hooker. The only thing I would say about that is
you're not going to throw him in next week.
You're not going to throw him in next week. And obviously, whatever's been getting produced in the reserves hasn't caught the eye enough to get him into the 17.
Yeah, exactly. And that's right. But I suppose it's all my thing is, I don't want to see players shoehorned into positions that they're not suitable for. I'd rather see him turn up against a Castleford here last week, play 20 minutes and look at him and think, nah, you're not for us.
Unfortunately, we are now in a position next week where we may have to look to shoehorn players in. I think there might be a couple of instances that the disciplinary may end up looking at. Hopefully we're burning every copy of the videotape going, but you can guarantee that there will be certain members on that disciplinary who will be going through that video with a fine-tooth comb. Rushy, get your Betamax out and do us a favour, because
Micron video is going to get Rushy's video library. He's going to have to come into that. But
sorry, Mrs. Rush, your husband's not available for any family outings this weekend. He's going into the dungeon and he's working hard.
I'm not particularly comfortable with Mike Rush having a dungeon.
It's
video dungeon.
It's his video dungeon. I don't know if he's got any other dungeons. He might have.
I like the idea that they're all in they all look like leather-backed books, but they're actually just fancy video.
But with like Shakespearean titles on the box, and then when you flip it open,
it's like Saints versus Featherstone from back in
1986. Oh well, I'm glad you're happy tonight.
No, listen. If you sum up that game, it's
Disaster. I summed it up in the first 5 seconds and you've ruined it.
It's frustrating. There's parts of that are frustrating, parts to keep the hope, and parts of it that just purge from your memory and never think of again.
Yeah, potentially top spot's now gone, given we've lost directly to Catalan. What's that? 6 points behind, number of game round, 4 points. They'd have to lose. We have to win everything. They'd have to lose at least 2. You can't see it. Can't see it. Race is still on for top 2, but again, we're chasing Lee. And speaking of Lee, let's not dress her up. We'll try not to put lipstick on it. We're going into next week as the underdogs.
Let's see how they come through their game. But yes,
don't care. They could have 8 outs. Underdogs next week, us.
But yeah, with the number of players that we have out, the fact that we don't look like we're quite firing on all cylinders going forward, your worry is how many points are we going to score?
You just hope it's a big game performance on home turf. We very rarely lose there, do we? And defensively, we're still solid. Listen to Pappy, Lamb, Charlie out on the wing. They're the players you've got to look out for. We've just got to come up with some sort of plan and cross everything, fingers, the lot, that we can get the job done. We very rarely lose 2 on the bounce.
You said it now.
I'm also saying we're going in as underdogs. So, yeah, we'll see.
Shouts out for Archie.
Archie Ashton.
Little legend. Who waits for our videos coming up. He waits to watch us too. Yeah. A little bit strange.
Bedtime.
Not Archie, just watching us. Just why would you watch us?
This is like the equivalent of like CBBS bedtime stories.
No.
And we all lived happily ever after. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.